Hey friends, this is Dolynny TV. Welcome back as we get set up to talk about today's cuts, goaltending situation, and of course the injury updates from Jay Woodcroft this afternoon. So as we get all set up here, last night finished up an amazing game after the Oilers slept walk through 2 periods of hockey, as they sometimes do. Should have known that was going to be the case. Of course, every time I shut off the stream, that's either when they do something or just magically pull it out. So it is what it is. Again, friends, if you are new to the channel right now, I'm going to get up in your face for just a second. If you'd be so kind after this video to consider hitting that subscribe button, that'd be greatly appreciated. Alright, either way, let's go talk about this Oilers team today. We made another round of cuts, a couple more players on waivers, and of course somebody's been sent down to the minors clear and free. That being Xavier Bourgault, who had an impressive night last night, right? Scored the opening goal and then scored another goal as well. A big time goal there for the Oilers in that third period against the Kraken. And that is where we tee off with things today, if I could get it to go. That graphic a little bit too big because of the lineup from last night. My apologies. Xavier Bourgault has been loaned to the Condors, and then Seth Griffith and James Hamblin have been placed on waivers for the purpose of assignments. So we will find out a little bit later tomorrow, what happens with Hamblin and of course Griffith. I think Griffith clears no problem. There might be one or two teams out there in the NHL that say, hey, if there's no one else out there, James Hamblin might be the guy we want to go out there and target, because he's had a pretty impressive camp. He's an NHL player at this point. He's a guy who's brought something at the NHL level for 10 games last year, and we'd like to obviously see him back in an Oilers sweater sometime this season, filling in holes as they may come up. That said, interesting to note, Brad Malone's still at training camp for the Edmonton Oilers. I mean, so is Calvin Pickard and a couple other guys that it's like, well, they're probably not going to make the team. But that is what brings me to slide number 2, friends. The Oilers' injuries. Well, Mattias Ekholm, Ryan McLeod still being held out. So that's what we need to know there. Those guys unlikely to see preseason games. They may indeed sneak into the final one. Could Ryan McLeod. Mattias Ekholm likely to go on opening night. However, you look at this again. Kulak and Niemelainen were held out of practice today for bumps and bruises. But when it comes to every single Oilers player that is injured or nicked up right now, all players would be good to go if it were a playoff game. So kind of that gamesmanship there from Jay Woodcroft of, we don't need to go out there and throw our best guys out there and get them worse off than they already are. And obviously too, you saw what happened last year with a couple of guys. I think it was McLeod and Kailer Yamamoto to start the year, just taking their time and not exactly progressing due to injuries. So would be nice to see the Oilers be able to get Ekholm, McLeod, a guy like Kulak and a guy like Niemelainen out of the gates healthy, so as we have no question marks all season long. So we'll keep that in mind as we go ahead. And obviously too, whoa, what is this? Who starts the opener? Well, that's a question that's cropped up here the past 2-3 days. Jack Campbell is a good performance there a few days back. His performance last night, Stuart Skinner is Stuart Skinner, and now the question is being begged. Who starts the opener? Jay Woodcroft put it today, open competition for the starting job on night number 1. Again, right, he kind of alluded to what happened last year. Jack got the start, right? We gave it to him. Didn't mean he was the starter the rest of the year. So this is one of those situations, again, where the Oilers have 2 goalies capable of winning them games, and whoever's going to do that gets the start. That's the big thing. So we'll see how that pans out for us again this year. But again, I'm confident that whether it be Jack or Stu that starts night 1 in Vancouver, that we probably come away with a big-time W just based on the lackluster performance so far through the preseason. Yes, we've never even iced anything close to a full lineup. But again, right, it'd just be nice to see the Oilers go out there and light it up, start the season with a tone-setting performance and get the job done. Now, what I asked on the Edmonton Oilers YouTube page today is your level of concern with the Oilers' injuries right now, 1 to 10. You look back here, just kind of reference that. Ekholm, McLeod, Kulak, Niemelainen, all kind of, have something wrong with them, right? And again, I reference back to that Yamamoto. No, he'll be good. And then he was on LTIR to start the season. keep that in mind. That's kind of what the Oilers are known to do at points, and obviously not saying they'll be using LTIR, but saying we could be very interesting in terms of what happens with some of these guys to start the season. And that's where I referenced, right, of Brad Malone still hanging around. Yes, there's obviously some other guys still hanging around, but there might be a reason one or two of these guys are still here at this point when you see that these guys have been loaned down to the minors: Hamblin, Griffith, and Bourgault. Lavoie still here as well. That's big news for us, and we'll see what happens here coming into tomorrow against the Calgary Flames. Friends, I'm Tyson. This is Dolynny TV. Thank you so much for tuning in this evening. Really appreciate you being aboard. I am up on... Oh dear.